Alright guys, this mare is a project mare that I had purchased a couple months before I had surgery, not knowing I had to have surgery. And I worked with her, got her leading pretty well. She was not halter broke at all. Didn't know much. She's just turned 7. And so pulled her out of the pasture. Gonna start working with her again, kind of try to get her going again. And try to find her a good home eventually. And so this is day 1 of bringing her back up in the pasture. You'll see her 3-year-old filly that I purchased with her as a package. Photobombing this video as we go sometimes. They're pretty bonded, and so getting her to even work away from that filly has been a challenge in and of itself. So it's not like I'm gonna sit there and just pound the crap out of her. I'm gonna, you see her looking at her and looking for support from that filly, but eventually I want her to look to support from me as well. And you can see that the filly was the same thing. Neither of them were halter broke, neither of them had been messed with, and so getting them to be able to do that over the last couple months, and then like I said, they had to sit for a while. So just kind of getting it back into it. She's not super sure about this whole being tied up. Again, she, like I said, she's had off for 2 months or so out in the pasture, which is fine. We just got to start slowly and surely and go back to it so that we can, get her going and get her back into shape and like I said, find her a good home eventually. And you can see as I go into the tack room, she's not exactly sure about the noises in there, but that's fine. She gets used to it, and just trying to expose her to different things and that sort of thing. And we'll take her to the round pen and work on her a little bit. And in the round pen, I did switch halters, so I have a longer lead rope on her, and just kind of getting her back into things and asking her to lunge. This is something that she had been taught before we kicked her out for a couple months, and you can see she's pretty tight. Her head's up in there. She's kind of looking where that other filly is, but I'm wanting her to be able to listen to me. You can see it took a little bit of energy to get her to trot, but then she did come back down to the walk real nice. And I asked her to come and stop and face me, and I was really happy with how she did that. Took her a little bit to switch directions there, but overall, she's trying. She's not super confident yet, being alone, going back to work, that sort of thing. But that's okay. You gotta just take baby steps with everything. But she does pick up that trot. She does come back down, and she wants to stop there. And there she tried to take off, and then I asked her to stop again. And there she takes a big old deep sigh, kind of licks her lips, goes, "Oh, this is not so bad." And just trying to let her know that this is, just because we're working a little bit, it's not the end of the world. If you push them too hard, sometimes they think it's horrible to be worked. And mostly, I'm just trying to get this mare to quiet down a little bit and realize it's not that bad. There, and I'm asking her to flex, just being real light, real quiet. She looks over, probably at a car going by, and but I still give her that benefit of the doubt. She moved her head a little bit, she gave to that slack, and that's what she needed to do. So it doesn't matter that that's what she thinks she needs to do. Now, on this side, she's wanting to move, and I'm just going with her. I'm not pulling extra. There she gave her head. But you see how I kept moving my feet, and there she moved her feet again, and again, and again, and I'm just brushing on her. And she just thinks she needs to keep moving her feet. So I just keep going with her, and I'm just brushing her. And that's all you do. If they keep moving their feet, just keep going with them. She's not trying to do anything dangerous, per se. She just thinks she needs to move her feet. And there she gave a little bit, so I'm going to give her some slack. I'm going to ask again. Start out wider versus closer to her body. And there she thinks she needs to move, so I'm just going to keep going with her again. Because what happens is if you release during that time, they think that that's what they're supposed to do. They think that they're supposed to move their feet, when in reality, all we're asking for is flexing. And I'll ask one more time. She really struggled with this side versus the other side. And so we're just going to take a little more time on this side. Kind of see where she needs to have some reminders of what to do. And she's kind of looking at that other filly too, so it's a little harder for her. Her head goes popping back up. And, you know, as I work with her, over the next couple days, she does learn how to relax a little better. It just takes her a little bit longer because, like I said, for 6 years of her life, she'd never been handled a whole lot. She'd been in a trailer. They, to get her loaded, we basically got her into a catch pen with some feed, backed the truck and trailer up to the opening of the catch pen, and ran them onto the trailer. So, it took a lot of work, just to get this far with her. And people may think, oh, well, you can do it in a day. That's fine. You can rush them, but you're not going to have a whole lot of trust with that horse. And so trying to build some of that trust back up with her, because she has sat back out in the pasture for about 2 months. And thankfully, she was actually really easy to catch by being able to gain some of that trust. For the month that I had her before my surgery, I could go out in that pasture and I could take her and catch her, walk up to her with a halter and leader rope and catch her, and she wasn't running off. So taking the time to gain some trust with her really did help. It's just kind of getting back into things. You can see she's kind of screaming for her filly that ran off. Because that filly, is just, that's her baby that she's been with for, 3 years, and not separated. She's weaned her herself. Like I said, I got them as a package deal, so they both will be getting worked over the next couple days. And she's kind of just throwing a fit, and I'm just kind of ignoring it and going with her and saying, this is all I'm asking. And eventually she'll get better. She'll stop moving her feet. There comes the filly running back up. But this is just kind of showing you how to work through some of those things. That if you ignore the little things and don't make it a big deal, it'll eventually go away. It'll eventually not be a big issue. And you can see there she finally just, kind of gave it up and realized, oh, it's not that bad. I can do this. Try it again. Kind of ask her to walk around, move her feet a little bit. If she thinks she needs to move her feet, fine, move her feet. There. And we finally got a nice light response without her moving all over the place. That's a big deal for her. And the dog is in there, which is fine. That's good for him. Sometimes these animals running, the dogs, cats, chickens, whatever, it's kind of a desensitization tool in and of itself. We don't always anticipate it, but it does happen. And there she comes back to me. I didn't pull on her. I just, waited for her to come back. And there I'll ask her to move her feet a little bit. Kind of go back because she really struggled with just flexing. So I'm going to go back to something she kind of knows how to do, something that's a little easier for her. Change it up a little bit. Don't drill it into them. You notice I didn't take a full 10 minutes to do just one thing. If you just do one thing over and over and over, that's drilling. Get a little bit, get a change, get a good change. Go do something else. There, she slowed down, but she didn't stop. So I'm still asking her to stop by tilting my head. And there I had to kind of bump on her, say, hey, remember that stop? She's like, yeah, kind of. So she was really slow to respond that time. But that's all right. You gotta take what you have. You can't expect miracles overnight. There, we're gonna go the other way. That's the same thing. And this is all I'm gonna do for her today. I'm not gonna drill on her. I'm gonna make it a short, sweet experience for today. And that way she'll realize that, hey, tomorrow's another day. We can progress on something else. We don't gotta drill. So, alright, there it is, guys. If you have questions about something you want to see, or more specifically about something of this video or other videos, just let me know.